Okay, folks, today on the Happiest Retirees podcast, we're veering into a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I love public transportation. In fact, sometimes I think my wife married me in spite of this over overwrought passion that I have. And so we're lucky today to have someone who is a celebrity for Atlanta public transportation. Donna DeJesús is the director of customer services for MARTA. From Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport to Sandy Springs, from Buckhead to Brookhaven, from Decatur to Doraville, MARTA is taking people where they want to go today and tomorrow. Donna, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for that very nice introduction, Ryan. I appreciate it. Happy to be here. Yes.
Yes, I can't thank you enough for coming on. It's the format today's a little different because, as our listeners know, normally I talk to a happy retiree to find out what they did in their life, and so that we can try to get people to emulate that. But I want to talk to you about your knowledge of MARTA and how maybe retirees might be able to utilize it to get around Atlanta and stay active and do things they want to do if they're maybe looking to drive a little less.
That's perfect because we have several different options. I'll be happy to get into that with you later on.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Um, so people, a little backstory. MARTA, which is the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority, it's the principal public transport operator in the Atlanta metropolitan area. It was formed in 1971, and at that point, it was strictly a bus system. But now it operates a network of bus routes linked to a rapid transit system consisting of 48 miles of rail track with 38 subway stations. So that's a pretty good chunk of the city and surrounding areas. Um, would you say it helps people get around the main city part and the surrounding portions?
Oh, most definitely there. And then we also have regional partners that intersect with MARTA, and that's in the surrounding counties. We have Cobb County, Gwinnett County, Douglas County, Henry County. So there's several other county express buses that link into MARTA stations. So we have that wonderful connection of being able to go even further out in the metro area and to be able to service the downtown areas or where you'd like to go to. Yes.
Yeah, I noticed. So people know I live in Los Angeles, but most of my coworkers are in Atlanta. And when I was out there, I noticed that the counties sort of run together pretty, like seamlessly. You're
Yes.
one place, and then you go out to lunch somewhere, and you're in another county.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, would you say if a retiree is looking to utilize MARTA, to drive less and get around and maybe even get some more walking in? I mean, steps are important each day. I know for me, what kind of what kind of options is MARTA having? I guess you could just list some places that are
Sure.
really good locations. Yeah.
I'll be happy to do that. And similar to other transit properties, we have at MARTA a program, a discounted program called the Reduced Fare Program. And that's for anybody who's 65 years or older, or anybody who may have a medical need and a doctor can certify eligibility into the program. You would qualify for that program. And that allows you to travel to get a card that has your photo on it and lets you travel at the rate of $8 per trip as
Hmm.
opposed to $2.50. So, as you can imagine, as a senior or as a retiree on a fixed income, you want to be able to utilize all of these resources that are available for you. So it's a federally mandated program, and we have 3 offices available. We also do a lot of outreach in these communities. We go to governmental activities where they may have senior days or just community days. We do outreach at senior center facilities. We go to multiplex facilities, and so that to avoid having someone not knowing MARTA for the first time and having to come to our office, we want to be out there and be proactive in the community. And we're actually qualifying you on the spot, taking your photo and printing a nice MARTA card with your picture on it. And that um, eligibility for that reduced price is immediate. You can
Wow.
immediately travel for $1. And with that $1, if I may add, you are able to travel up to 3 hours and four transfers.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay, so the senior price is $1?
$1 per trip.
Okay, per trip. So does that
Correct.
include transfers, did you say? Or
Correct. So you can, as a MARTA, anybody riding MARTA, you're allowed four transfers within 3 hours going in the same direction.
okay.
Because our system was primarily built as a feeder system, meaning we have primarily north, south, east, west, and then all the buses connecting to the closest point, which is a rail station. Someone may need to get on a bus to get to a rail station. Once they get to the closest rail station, may need to transfer to a bus to get to their final destination. So you're allowed to go all of that in one direction, because we don't want you going and coming back for that
Right.
$1 fare. But
Right.
but yes, it is an awesome benefit, and quite a few. We do have a large population that take advantage of that benefit. So
Yeah, so, I mean, $1, I think that sounds like a fair price. I mean, MARTA's gotta wet its beak a little bit, right? You gotta keep the
yeah,
trains running. Uh,
yeah,
um, but okay, and do you also have park and ride options if people maybe wanna drive a little?
correct. We have several park and ride facilities in that cuts down, and I am one of those who takes advantage of the park and ride.
Oh,
I actually live in an area outside of Atlanta called Henry County,
okay.
and I take, to speak to myself, I take an express bus in, and MARTA has a reciprocal agreement with our regional partners, meaning I pay for my express bus to come in that takes me to the Civic Center station, and then I transfer to the MARTA train for four stops, and then I'm right across the street. On the
Wow.
way home, I MARTA, being a benefit as a MARTA employee, I don't have to pay that fare. So it's a reciprocal
Ooh.
agreement that we do have with the counties. Whatever county
Oh.
you enter in would get that revenue.
So I did have a question there because
Yeah.
a lot of our retirees love to volunteer or maybe a part-time job. Does MARTA have something available in that sense, and then maybe their fare would be free, or even if it's not free, just a way for people to stay involved? Does MARTA offer any kind of opportunities like that?
We have, as I think about that, MARTA does have, I have part-time employees in the call center, one of the call centers that I manage.
Oh,
Um, it's not a lot of allocated positions, but I do have um, a senior employee. In fact, one of my employees who's a part-timer actually retired from MARTA and then took a year traveling, and then he wanted to come back in and be engaged. So he came back on a part-time basis. So that was really a benefit for me. So in certain
yeah.
areas, we do have paid. Of course, part-timers are paid, so you can be employed, and in most jobs there isn't any type of age discrimination or age criteria, provided you meet the qualifications for the job and willing to do it. But we also have outreach communities. We have a writers advisory group that it's made up of individuals from surrounding counties, and who are really most of them are transit advocates, or they just want to be. They may join as a skeptic, but then want to come in and see our operations and be exposed and learn all about our projects, and then they're able to see all the great programs that we're doing. And we do have quite a few retirees and some seniors in that group. So we
Oh,
do have groups like that. We have also a MAC committee, and I've got to watch the acronyms because we use a lot of acronyms in
there's a lot of
transit.
acronyms.
Yes, some are the accessibility committee, and that's made up of people with different types of disabilities. and a mixed group who come in and every 2 months. And the same thing, they give us feedback about our service. We use their feedback to implement as we're implementing programs or to consider what the customer experience is from that age group or that group that has walks around with that type of disability, and then make sure that we're meeting the needs of those customers. So there are a couple of groups. We also do surveys from a research and analysis group, and when we're surveying, we're actually on the system, and as you know from researchers, they're looking for certain segments of people that fit certain personas. So we're going out there and soliciting your input, and what
Oh,
you
okay.
say is going to be valued, going to be reported all to senior management and also to our board. So there are several opportunities. Now, most of these opportunities are advertised on our MARTA website.
Mm.
So, of which we are in the process of revamping within the next couple of months. But you will see banners on our MARTA websites and opportunities for interacting definitely with us. And definitely here in the call center, I am gathering information all day long. Any concerns you may have, suggestions, recommendations, um, and passing that along so that it is considered by the project team.
And for people at home, that website is itsmarta.com, its
www.itsmarta.com.
dot
That's
com.
correct. Yes.
Now, what are some of these can you list some of the big concerns you get from people and how you might be addressing those?
So right now we are doing a couple of rehabs. I shouldn't say a couple, several rehabs of our stations. Um, you may have heard in the news that within the next couple of years we're going to have all new rail cars. Very excited when
Wow.
and those rail cars come with some really wonderful new features. You know, real time information, digital signs.
Ooh.
It's the open seating, the open area, so people make sure people who choose to ride bikes and things like that have, easy access.
Oh, they can
Um,
bring their bike on the car?
oh,
On the train
sure,
car?
sure.
Oh, okay.
Even on our buses, all of our buses have bike stands in the front of them too.
Okay.
Um, But so people, whenever there's a news release about it or a board meeting where we may have given an update to the board, and we have very engaged public who look at our board meetings online or actually come to the headquarters building to give our board members feedback. Um, we make sure that that information is shared. And I'm sorry, Ryan, my thoughts I got excited about the real cars and my
I know the
as
feeling.
much
I
as it.
know the feeling,
So
Donna.
we make sure that we document everything that you say, all of your input. You can email us. We even get snail mail. There are still people who send mail through the post office,
Yep.
and we receive those. You can on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You could communicate with us. We compile all that information, and we make sure that the project teams know about it. We make sure that the board is aware of any comment that may be directed to the board or senior staff. And we have regular meetings about all of these projects. And once again, they want to know from customer services, what have you heard? What are customers saying? Is it a FAQ that we didn't properly answer? Or maybe we need to add this additional question to fully explain the impact to you when we launch this new program initiative or rehab project. Yes.
Just so you know, not only do I love public transportation, I love the US mail. I still send it all the time. My son is almost 2
Yeah.
and he's already saying post office.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yes.
so I'm glad to
Yes.
hear people are still utilizing the mail.
Yes. Oh, they do.
Um,
Yes.
so what would you say to someone who lives in the Atlanta area and they've heard like that MARTA doesn't go, people here, I mean, it doesn't go where I want or doesn't go enough places. What would you say to that person?
I'd say to them, well, what are your interests, first of all? If you're talking about museums, I can list uh, um, all of the major attractions that are within walking distance to our stations. We have the College Football Hall of Fame, World of Coke, National Center for Civic and Human Rights, the High Museum, the Fernbank Museum. These are all accessible via MARTA. If you're looking for attractions, we have the Atlanta D Symphony Orchestra and Sympathy Hall within walking distance of our stations. We have the Fox Theater, the Georgia Aquarium, one of the largest, I
Ooh,
may add, a plug for
yeah.
Atlanta. I think there's one other state that may have a larger aquarium. We have Centennial Olympic Park. True is the home of the Braves, and that's a connectivity with one of our regional partners. We have the State Farm Arena, and of course, our pride and joy, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Is that where the Falcons play?
That's where the Falcons play. So we also have, so those are attractions. I've talked about museums. We also have multi-purpose senior centers in all different communities. We have the Central DeKalb Senior Center, the Lou Walker Senior Center, Harriet Darnell Multipurpose Facility, Helena Mills, and the HJC Bowden Senior Multiplex Facilities.
Hmm.
These are all very active communities of which retirees and seniors can definitely go. And let me tell you, some of the activities they travel, they go to different places, restaurants. They're very, I cannot wait for my opportunity to join one of them to go to
Yeah.
all the very interesting places. They're very active communities.
And so they
Right.
use MARTA to get around to go to these locations.
MARTA, what are those facilities that I mentioned, you are able to travel to those facilities using MARTA if you choose not to drive.
Yeah.
We all understand in urban cities what traffic is like, and definitely with Atlanta being a thoroughfare between Florida and going north, it's as you know, it's traffic can be a nightmare. It could be
Yeah.
daunting too. So we definitely want to encourage the use of our bus rail and streetcar. You mentioned streetcar a little while ago.
Yeah.
And all those attractions that I mentioned, the streetcar stops in front of those facilities.
Really?
So why not coast? Because I do speak to some seniors, and there might be a concern because of the way movies project, subways and and unpleasant things that may happen
Yeah.
in transit. Some people say, I prefer to just, I want to be on the streetcar, or I only want to go to a certain location using buses. That's what I'll provide you. I'll tell you the different buses that you need to connect to get to your facility, if that's your choice. You want to look out the window, you're at a slower pace, you're not in a rush to get anywhere because the trains will get you there faster. But if your choice is to go bus to bus, we'll do that. Or if you want to go bus to streetcar or streetcar to bus, however you want to travel, we will be happy to provide you that information. Yes.
Do you have a streetcar named Desire?
I like that. That's a nice one. But I also wanted to mention another mode of transit that MARTA provides, and we call it our mobility service,
Oh,
which is really our paratransit service. That is another door to door or curb to curb service that's provided for people who are qualified to use the program. So they would come directly to your home and pick you up and take you to whatever location within the MARTA jurisdiction, of course, parameters. And it's within a quarter mile of our fixed route. So you could be traveling from the south side of town. I'll name a city to just throw out like Union City, and maybe you have a doctor's appointment up in Sandy Springs. That's within our jurisdiction. Um,
yeah.
but you have a qualified medical need um, that your doctor had authorized you to use this program.
Oh. Oh,
And
okay.
and that service is at $4 a ride, but you are getting sort of curb to curb service. And now it is not a dedicated service. I must say, some people think that, oh, it's like an Uber, it's me in a one car. No, it is a shared ride
Yeah.
because, as you can imagine, those vans may need to pick up several other people who have requested to go in the same direction. So, but we will meet the timeline that you say that I need to be picked up at 7:30 and I need to be dropped off at 8:45 for my 9 o'clock doctor's appointment, or to go shopping at that Costco. I prefer that Costco than the one that's, closest to me. Or to
Yeah.
go to the hairdresser or Walmart, wherever you want to go, as long as you're qualified for that. And there's zero denial rate on that service.
Oh,
So
oh.
you call, you're qualified for the service, you make a reservation for the service, and we have to provide the service.
And how do they show proof of qualification? They show their doctor's note or
There's an
something?
application
Oh,
process,
okay.
and where a doctor would certify you, and then MARTA, that application comes back to MARTA. We do have qualified representatives, actually a vendor, a contractor, who does the certification of the doctor's information and a physical assessment of you. So to validate that you're entitled to the service. And that's not managed by MARTA staff because you could understand the HIPAA concerns and confidentiality. All I need to know is that you're qualified for the service, not what circumstances made you qualify for the service. And then
Yeah.
once you are certified and you receive your card in the mail, you are good to go. You can call in and make your reservation.
Now, as a doctor of love, would I be able to certify people?
As
Okay.
long as you have, let me put on my political hat here, some type of physician license.
No, yeah, it's above
Yeah,
board. It's
yeah, yeah.
okay. Um, you had mentioned taking Marta to Truist Park,
Yes,
where the Braves
yes, our
play.
Braves. Yes,
What would be the way? So I'm trying to. When I was there, that's in Smyrna, isn't it?
it's in Cobb County.
Cobb County. Okay.
Correct.
So what would be like? Say you're downtown, where you ride in the Civic Center, or so. How would you? What are some of the best ways to get to a Braves game? Because that was an amazing facility. I was blown away by it.
Yes, yes. And so we have board bus 12 at the Midtown station,
Okay.
and that travels to Cumberland Mall. At Cumberland Mall, there's a transfer center that's in Cobb County. They have a transfer center. And from there, they have a Cumberland circular shuttle. It's either blue or green that takes you right to the Battery and to Truist Park.
Okay. Okay. So it's pretty easy. You see a
Pretty
lot of
easy.
people do it.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Because if you're trying to avoid parking, and also if you've tried to leave any type of game in that facility, and you and what 60,000 people are trying to,
Yeah.
so yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I
um,
imagine, you go to a game like any baseball game, and if you want to get a beer, you kind of have to take out a mortgage. So you're trying to save money wherever you can.
I
Yeah.
would strongly advise to, yeah, take the local transportation. Yes, yes,
Do you see a lot of retirees using MARTA?
yes, because I'm on the system every day.
Okay. So
I
you
most
see it
definitely,
firsthand.
I see it firsthand, and maybe because I work for MARTA and manage the program, I can tell from the breeze card that they're using that they're qualified for the program because it has their photo on it. It's yellow, and the reason why it has a photo on it, let's say you're boarding a bus, and bus operator can validate right of way that you're entitled to the program. You match the photo on the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned a little bit for yourself looking forward to being able to use it when you retire. What do you think you'll use it for in your retirement years?
Definitely, I loved. I'm not natively from Atlanta.
Oh, you're not. Okay, where are you
No,
from?
I'm from New York,
Oh, okay.
and so transit is the way. In fact, having a car was a liability because you have to pay for parking and traffic, and you're able to just get around a lot faster. I lived in Brooklyn and I worked in Harlem, so that was quite a commute,
Yeah, that's
but it
quite a
was
yeah.
done within an hour every day, and it was the easiest thing. I read a lot, so definitely I would use it to go to all the shows I don't get to go to at the Fox Theater.
Okay.
Um, I definitely use it for all the events at Mercedes Benz and even at CNN.
Yeah.
Just Marta, we're so fortunate in that we have sports activities, you have the cultural arts, you have museums, there's all of the type of entertainment at all levels, all types of entertainment that you can go to. Not only that, as we've opened up more coming out of the COVID pandemic area, you're able to see different parks may have jazz festivals
Oh,
or
yes.
and so it's wonderful. You bring your chair and your cooler and you enjoy some music and then what a lovely way to end the day. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that on my own leisure time. Yes.
Yeah, if you give me a chair
Yeah.
and a cooler, I know I'm gonna have a good day.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's a lot of free concerts, lots of activities. We even have what I would consider um, concerts on the system now. We have a
Oh,
great, in MARTA, there's a great Artbound initiative program that we call. And if you go on the MARTA website, you will see where the performances are and just yesterday, when I was taking the train, I heard a great saxophonist playing. I was hesitant about getting on my, because he was doing an awesome job and had a great personality to match. We've actually had live performances, ballet, um, um, you know,
really?
shows and things like that. Yes, we are great. It's called Artbound, and you'll see it on a MARTA website. And we advertise to the public where the performances will be and what
Wow.
time. And so it's really a nice ambiance going into the station and hearing somebody very talented um, just playing their heart out and people stopping and listening. It's
So if I go to www.itsmarta.com, I could
.com.
find out which
Sure.
stations some
Yes.
great
Yes, you
jazz musicians
can.
are gonna be playing at or something like that.
Yes, you can. And the time frame they'll be there. Yes.
What if I were a happy retiree who loved playing the clarinet or something? Could I sign up to play at a station?
That I'm not sure how it's managed. I'd have to get back with you on that. There is a wonderful staff that manages that program, and I'm not sure they're probably working. I'm not sure about the qualifications to be
Right.
sign up. Yeah.
But you have a lot going on already, so
Oh
if someone wanted to
yes.
hear this music, yeah.
Oh yes. The whole idea is that we are in the community. We are part of the community, and we want to be representative of that too.
Yeah.
Um, so Martin is always looking for ways to be more engaging. You know, um, we have during Autism Month, we have some kids who are making the announcements during Autism Month, and you're hearing these little voices speak very clearly and very excited about, being the voice in the station for that
Yeah, I
whole
bet.
month. I mean, so Marta is definitely engaged in being more connected.
Okay, so the Atlanta International Airport is I think it's the biggest in the world. I
The
don't
busiest,
busiest in the
the
world.
busiest, yes.
Tell me about using MARTA to get in and out of there.
Oh, it is best kept, the best thing ever.
Okay.
I use it myself. So we have an airport station. It's the end of our South Line that goes directly to the airport.
Okay.
Um, and from there, as you know, the way the airport is constructed, you're either on the north terminal or the south terminal, depending on where your airline. When you get off at that station, we have an elevator there, escalator, stairs. You go downstairs and you either go to your right to the south terminal or to the left to the north terminal. The easiest connection ever. And
Okay.
if there is a shuttle to the international concourse that you walk out of the building and there's a shuttle that can also take you to the international concourse, it is the most easiest. And a lot of people utilize that. I must say, a lot of seniors, when we do outreaches towards the end of the year, like the November timeframe, October, November timeframe, we're seeing like a lot of seniors making sure that their card is still active because they're going out of town to visit with family during the holidays. And they want to make sure that my card is, I have fare of my card is still active, it hasn't expired because I'm going to use it to travel during that time. Yes.
Yeah. So people I mean, this is great for people that live in Atlanta who wanna, travel and come back or maybe business um, owners or just
Yes.
anyone who's for business coming to Atlanta, that MARTA is a great and affordable way to move
Yeah.
around and get out of the airport.
And my home station is a College Park, which is one station away from the airport.
Oh,
And there is not a day. So the days that I choose not to use the express bus and I'm parking at a station and driving the rest of the way because maybe I have an errand to run between there and home or something. All you see are travelers, and you see those business travelers on the Friday. You see them on the Monday morning, and they're coming in and they're logging in because there's Wi-Fi on the trains. So you see them logging
oh,
into their laptops and maybe doing presentations or doing work prior to getting. But
right.
you can tell the business rider because their suitcase is obviously a lot smaller than mine is, you know, and yeah. You
Well, that's another benefit that I always found with public
Yeah.
transportation is I can get work done instead of driving.
Right.
By the time I get to where I'm going, I've accomplished something.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me some other perks of using MARTA rather than driving. I mean, there's getting work done, like you said,
Okay.
when you read.
I definitely I read and I listen to shout podcast.
Oh, well, maybe you can
So
listen to this one.
yes, I do. Um, the other thing too that my group, I am in the area called customer experience.
Okay.
And so within that, we're always looking for innovative ways that makes our customers travel easier, more beneficial, um, getting you real-time information. Um, and what are things that are going to attract and retain you as the customer? We need to stay on the cutting edge too in transit as we reattract people who during the pandemic worked from home or
Yeah.
doing a hybrid and things like that.
Yeah.
And so we have as one of our groups a sustainability group. And I can tell you, I might be preempting a modern announcement,
Wait,
but
we're breaking news here on the Happiest
yes,
Retirees
but
podcast.
please don't. Please don't get me in trouble.
Okay.
But I'm having such a good time explaining this. We have, and they're testing. We're in the testing phase,
Okay.
so I know we're close to launch. So I should not be in too much trouble. We have
Okay.
in our coming out of our sustainability group something called Sustainability in Motion.
Ooh.
So if I may read this is exciting news.
Yeah.
So MARTA, we have about 61 million trips in 2023, both on bus, rail, and mobility, and the streetcar. So to help reduce the emissions, pollutions, and reduce road congestion, I think this is pretty awesome. What is my part that I'm doing on this earth while I'm here is to reduce my carbon footprint. So what we're doing is testing a report whereby you can summarize or get an estimate of your contribution to reducing CO2 by taking transit. That's
Mm.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So this morning, just this morning, so we're testing before we launch to make sure it's right. We have Breeze cards that have a Breeze card number on the back of it. Every time you purchase our current fare media from a ticket vending machine, or you can purchase it online and they would mail it to you. There's a number on the bottom there, 20-digit number. And you enter in, it's very simple, this website, you enter in your 20-digit number and it provides this report. So what it told me, I'm going to reveal a little bit about
All
my
right.
carbon footprint. So we're talking about sustainability and taking care uh, uh, of the earth that we're, fortunate
Yeah.
to be
I know
on.
I'm worried that my carbon footprint looks like Sasquatch.
So just for this year, for me, it could be a little hard, but it says that I've ridden 941.6 rail miles, CO2 saved versus driving in pounds, 696.78. And this one I really liked. Look how many trees I've saved, 32 trees.
Ooh,
Yay,
that's a cool way to measure it. Yeah.
32 trees. I was like, I'm really happy that from those who are very concerned on a serious note, for those who are very concerned about air quality and us doing our part while we are here, it's so easy to just go to your car and go. And you say, oh, I can commit maybe 3 days of using local transit or biking to work. We have a great
Hmm.
beltway. They're doing lots of great work in the city of Atlanta about bike lanes. Walking trails, or I'll walk. Quite a few employees actually bike to work.
Oh, really?
Let me see what I can do. Yes, and we have in our stations, I'm branching out into another topic, we have bike areas where you can go and park your bike for we actually no more than less than 24 hours if that's your mode of transit. You can lock it, and a lot of people take their wheel. But we also have some tire you can, and I'm not using the right terminology, but you can fix if you need to work on your bike and fix something, you can hook it up and actually do the work right there. We don't provide the tools, but we have those stations um, throughout a lot of our stations where we
Okay.
see a lot of heavy bike traffic. So you talk about sustainability, not only being able to go to attractions and live your life, and organize your life and your travel and your entertainment, and your definitely your vacation around MARTA, but also from a sustainability point of view, how are you impacting the world?
From now, the next time I'm in Atlanta, I'm gonna point to 32 trees and say, "Donna saved
Donna
those."
saved those. Yes, yes, yes.
And by the way, Atlanta has so many amazing trees. But living out west, I was so blown away by that. It's beautiful. So
It is.
thanks for saving 32 of those. um, you mentioned Jazz Fest, or jazz at least. Isn't Jazz Fest a giant event in Atlanta?
It
And
is.
MARTA goes right to it, I think, right?
It does, true, if it's held at the Centennial Olympic Park. But we also have other music concerts that are held. There may be, what's it, movie? There's um, uh, music in the park, I think in Decatur, different neighborhoods
Oh,
and
okay.
different communities, who is also doing the same thing, trying to have events that incorporates the whole family. You know, you and your kids and probably elderly parents or whom it could all go and um, have a nice evening, and there'll be food trucks. So a lot of cities do their own events in their local parks. Yes.
Okay.
And then Stone Mountain Park, which is a major monument and attraction, they're always having activities too. Um,
Did you say Stone Mountain Park?
Stone Mountain Park,
Stone Mountain
correct.
Park.
It's the
Okay.
highest point, yeah, in Atlanta.
Oh, the highest point in Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Well, it'll be nice to go up there and look down and see
yes.
everything, I imagine.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is. It really is. Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned the streetcar, and how does that work? Is it one of the rail lines, or it's like kind of a fun addition to it, or because it looks kind of cool from the pictures?
Yes. So the streetcar, you can connect at our Peachtree Center station.
Okay.
And you ride up right on the street as a streetcar. They run on a separate electronic lines, and they
Okay.
go, it's I think about 18 miles, and they stop at a lot of the major attractions. So to ride that system, it is $1.
Oh,
So once you go up from the Peachtree Center, if you're connecting from MARTA, right on the street on Peachtree, um, you would pay your dollar. You could actually put $1 in. The last time I rode it, we can actually put $1 in the container in the fare box, or you can purchase a ticket that you show to the driver and to be able to just sit on there, and it just goes through the city, stopping at different venues. Yes.
okay. Speaking of paying, so is it easy for seniors or anyone to pay? I mean, they can pay at the station, and they can also pay in advance if they want to just get that out of the way.
Sure. Sure, they
Okay.
can. We actually have a website that's dedicated to managing your fare. It's called breezecard.com.
Okay.
and you can actually go on that site. You can reload value. So you could be at home, reloading value from a credit card directly onto your Breeze card, or you can go to a station and use the Breeze vending machine right there. We also accept cash too.
Okay.
So on the buses, if you just want to pay by cash to get to a rail station, some people want that option too.
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds pretty easy. People
Correct.
can either do it, maybe they forgot, they can just do it right there. Or if they want to plan
Correct.
ahead, that's easy too.
Correct. And I must say that another exciting major project that you'll see on our MARTA website, where we are overhauling our whole fare collection system
Oh,
in time um, for the World Cup.
because the World
That's
Cup's
coming.
coming to Atlanta.
Correct, in 2026.
Ooh, that's going to be
So June
huge.
and July. So and we have, quite honestly, a fare collection system that's over 20 years old. So the mechanics keeping up the equipment, and being able to introduce new technologies and pay as you go. And we're still launching. We're in the middle of launching Breeze Mobile. We have the Breeze Mobile app on your phone, whereby you can just manage it from your phone, as most people just use their phone for everything, right?
Yeah.
You've got your wallet, and you could also have your Breeze Mobile Pass on your phone too, and you could scan it and travel that way. But in by the World Cup, we would have replaced all of our fare collection system, to be account. We're moving from what we call a card-based account. Right now, your fare is on your card or on your cell phone with your mobile pass. We're moving to
Yeah.
an account-based system, so your account will always be available to you. You
You
may
mean
still have a card,
no matter how would it always be available to you? Mean
so you don't necessarily have to tap. Your phone is tied to your card. So
oh,
some people, if there's any type of malfunction with that card, you may have to swap it out. It's
yeah,
old technology in fare collection system.
right.
But we're talking about immediately as you load fare on your card, it's available because it's in your account. You would have established an account with us.
Gotcha.
Um, very so think about what a massive project that is, because we're overhauling every touch point that a customer uses, every bus fare box, every fare gate, and we have several fare gate arrays in all of our stations, depending on the configuration of the stations. We're
Yeah.
also going to have, with that project, retail outlets, and
Oh,
whereby you may live in an area that, and I'm going to say similar to, because I'm not sure of the retailers, similar to other cities where you can maybe go to a Walgreens or a CVS or a Target and purchase your fare card, that has fare in it to use transit. It's the same type of access that MARTA will provide, so that you don't necessarily have to come on a MARTA property in order to purchase fare. You
okay.
can do that as you're checking out or in your local communities, depending on which retail outlet we negotiate with.
So a lot of this will be in place by the time the World Cup gets to Atlanta in
Yes,
2026.
yes, yes. How
That's great.
exciting!
Oh yeah, I mean, didn't the so when the Olympics were there in 1996, was that also that seemed like another big boost for MARTA? Like it grew a lot for that, and now it's
It
growing a
did.
lot for the World Cup.
Oh yes. And I mean, we have had, it's amazing to see all of the various sports. As you know, soccer has an incredible following,
Oh yeah,
and we have had very large crowds coming in for all of the soccer games.
yeah, that's very exciting. I think
Yeah.
people are going to be
Oh yes.
rediscovering MARTA. Those who
Oh
aren't using
yes.
it might really rediscover it for that.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's going to be the World Cup of public transportation.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Well,
uh,
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
oh, I bet. Yeah. So, what kind of security is out there?
Wow.
Maybe someone's a little bit worried about, taking a train or a bus.
Mhm.
Um, ca- can you speak to the safety that you provide,
Sure.
or maybe they don't need to be scared?
Sure.
Make the case for that.
Sure. So MARTA it's one of the few properties that have a dedicated police
Oh,
department. Most transit properties rely on the local jurisdictions that they're in to provide assistance whenever there is a safety or security issue. MARTA has a dedicated, they are MARTA police officers. They are certified in the state of Georgia and have the same arrest entitlements or powers, I should say,
yeah.
of police officers within the state of Georgia. So we have several different, and I may leave out, let me think. We have patrol officers in our stations. We have undercover officers, and you may not
Really?
know. Correct. I see them quite frequently, and maybe because I know who to look for. I know,
Well,
you know,
for all I know,
because
you're undercover right now,
you could never know, right? But and we have bicycle officers riding around, checking our parking ride facilities, our decks, making sure our cars are safe out there. We have canine officers that are
Wow.
making sure that there isn't that type of threat. We have SORT teams who, as you know, they go through extensive training and we have to be vigilant about safety and security in transit. As most companies, everywhere you go, you see that escalation in safety and
Yeah.
security wherever you go. I'm just sad to say, but this is the world we live in. But I want to also point out we also have an app. It's called CNC.
Say again. See and say.
CNC, MARTA CNC.
Okay.
And so you see something, say something. And you
Okay.
could be anonymous. You could be sitting there on the train and somebody with nuisance behavior or panhandling or something that you see that you just don't feel comfortable with. We encourage everybody to download that app, and you could log on, you could discreetly take a picture, or you give a description and they know exactly what your location is, and you will see within the next couple of stops, all of a sudden there's a police officer, depending on the circumstance and availability, of course, and what else they're dealing, because they're covering all of our bus routes, bus stations. There will be a police presence. And
Okay.
you have the option of doing it anonymously, or you can self disclose, who you are, and you'll get a text back
Oh,
definitely
I
that they've
see.
received it. And part of our police dispatch center, which makes an operation to see similar to like a 911 center, whereby they are looking at those texts, um, and responding and dispatching them just as they're dispatching police officers to if there's a medical situation on a train or some other suspicious behavior that we may see, that just check out, this car or this bag that's been on the platform. So be assured that we have dedicated police officers to respond.
Well, and with Atlanta having such a booming film industry, I have an idea for you. It's a TV show called MARTA PD, and you and I run around town making the world safe for public transportation.
That probably has been because I'm a law enforcement, I have law enforcement in my family,
Oh, you
so
do?
very near and dear to me. So, and as we look at these shows, on TV, the ride along shows, that probably would be fun to
All right,
see
I'll
what
write
it's
up
like.
the summary and then we can
Yes,
pitch it around.
yeah.
We'll take Marta around to the different areas to pitch it.
Yeah. But
Okay,
let me
so
just say, no, let me add on to that, Ryan. Now you've got my brain thinking.
oh,
We do
I
have a
love it.
police academy.
You
Not
do?
academy. It's called a Citizens Police Academy. I may
For
not have said
Marta.
that correct. Yes, where MARTA police encourage participants to come in and for how many weeks they go out and actually see the roles that the various segments within the police department are responsible. I
Oh,
remember taking it when it first launched years ago, and we had to put our detective hat on, and we were walking all over the crime scene, and we were just making a mess. We
wow.
did, but it sort of puts you in the mindset. This is what MARTA police officers do. These are what the crime suppression team does. This is what a canine police officer does, and these are the equipment they work. These are the criteria. These are the laws that they need to abide by, because MARTA is also going through several different jurisdictions. So
Oh,
not
yeah.
only do we have maybe state statute that protect us, no eating, the no panhandling, no fair evading, but
Yeah.
also we have to, those police officers need to understand that they're going through a jurisdiction that maybe require some other type of laws or statutes or whatever the terminology is within that. So
Yeah.
it was very, very interesting. And we also want customers, people going through those programs, to actually live, you're in the life of a MARTA police officer, and so they are out here for your advocates. These are the resources to use them, and spread the word within your family and community. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that is great. I had no idea it was that intricate.
Yeah, yeah, it
That
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
people that does seem like a legitimate reason to feel safer when you're writing because there all this energy is being put into the
Correct.
security.
And we also have, aside from the CSA and definitely police officers, you also have other MARTA personnel in the stations, and you can easily identify them because they're wearing a MARTA uniform that would have our logo on it, and so they might have a radio, but would know immediately how to get assistance. On every rail car, there are buttons at the edge of each, on the ends of each rail car, of which, if you're ever feeling a little uncertain, you can press that button, and it's in direct communication with the rail operator, the person operating that train, who can get
Really?
you assistance. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Could I push that button just to see how the driver's doing?
Please don't.
Okay.
Please don't. I
I
don't want
won't.
to see a report coming through with your name on it. Please.
If you see it, you can say,
Yeah.
"I know that guy."
I know him. I may not say it right.
Yeah, yeah, don't tell anyone.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so I have a few more questions if
Okay.
you can stay with me here. Is there a person named Marta that's, like, in charge of all the no, that's not really my question. Um,
I did have an employee named Marta at one
Really?
time. She retired, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
she retired. Maybe she
Yeah.
can come on the show.
Right?
Um,
Yeah.
here's a question for maybe an area that's a little bit outside the central hub of, the Atlanta workforce. Say
Mhm.
someone lived in Lawrenceville and maybe they work on a podcast in Sandy Springs and is there a way for them to commute without a car?
If you give me their destination, where they're coming from, where they're going to, I'll be able to email them, or reach out to them, or call them and tell them how to go.
Wow.
Not only that, let me just say, MARTA has a main number, 404-848-5000.
Okay.
It is advertised on all our display boards, all our bus stops, rail cars. That's the main MARTA number. And when you call that number, you'll get the option of reaching police, our mobility area. You get to reach customer services. And within customer services, we have two call centers. I have a call center that's dedicated, that's primarily what they do, 7 days a week.
Oh,
They
oh, really?
direct
Okay.
you, they provide bus and rail schedules and trip itinerary planning. So you can very well call and say, I am coming in on Saturday and I'm arriving at this time and I would like to get to this location. Tell me how to travel there. We will be able to access the schedule for that day and time, because it may be different on the weekend if we're doing some rail work, or if we're traveling after 9 p.m. and we're sort of cutting back on our headways. And we will be able to tell you what train to take, where to get off, what connection you need to make, be it a rail or bus connection, where to get off, and then how to walk you to your final destination.
Wow.
So we provide that, and we there's about 1,000 people a day that call um, every day who say, I don't want to figure this out myself. I know I
Right.
could go on the MARTA website and use a trip planner. I know I could possibly use Google. I'm not endorsing that, right? Um, but I want you to walk me through and tell me that.
And give us the
And
number one more time.
sure, it's 404-848-5000. And you get to, at the very front of the menu, you will get to identify if you want to speak in English or if you want to speak in Spanish or other languages. Then from there, there's a menu. You're listening for the menu that says customer services and trip itinerary planning. And
Okay.
we will walk you through that.
Fantastic.
Or you could email us. You don't want to call, but you prefer to email. Everybody has email on their telephones. So
Yeah.
you can email SCHEDinfo, SCHEDINFO at itsmarta.com. If you've forgotten that information on the MARTA website, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, the main page. It'll say Contact MARTA, and you'll have all that information, both the telephone numbers and the websites that you can contact us.
So if someone wants to find out how to get from Lawrenceville to Sandy Springs, they would email skedinfo at itsmarta.com.
Smarta.com. Yes.
Sked, SCHED, info at itsmarta.com.
Itsmarta.com.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take a shot in the dark here. Your last name, DeJesús, like I said,
Yes.
my grandmother-in-law, it's her last name, the New York connection. Do you happen to have Puerto Rican in your family?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
My
From
wife's
Carolina, from Carolina, Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's the city in Puerto Rico, Carolina?
Yes.
Okay. I think my in-laws are either Ponce.
Ponce. Yes.
And then I can't, not Arecibo. I think that's where the big satellite was. Anyway, okay, this is great because sometimes on the show we like to do something called the Bochinche report.
What Bochinche are we talking about?
So for people who don't know what Bochinche is, it's like the hot gossip.
Oh yeah.
So do you have any hot MARTA Bochinche that we can know about? Maybe someone around the office makes better coffee than someone else. I don't know. Could be anything.
Now I'm going through my filter right now. And
what's safe to say?
Yes, what Bochinche is. I don't know if it's not necessarily Bochinche, but I've been around quite a while at MARTA. I was fortunate enough, did not come from a transit environment when I lived in New York. I worked in a nonprofit. I was a fundraiser primarily in New York. And ended up here was right prior to the Olympics.
Okay.
I'm probably sharing way too much that should be aired.
No.
But a fantastic time. I was completely impressed about how MARTA and the city of Atlanta prepared for the Olympics. And all the various companies that wanted to know, how did Atlanta win the Olympics? What did you do? How do you coordinate parking? How did you coordinate events and things like that? So I was able to learn a lot. So because of my tenure and the time that I came and the exposure that I personally was given, I happen to know like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there is not a time, and MARTA is made up, there's so many different jobs, about 4,700 different types of employees at MARTA. And by golly, there's not a day that I'm walking through the atrium or on an elevator or walking through the station and I see somebody with as much tenure with me who pulls me to the side and say, do you believe what happened? Transit is very interesting. The personalities that use transit. And I guess that's for the world, where you think about it. If you're flying on a plane, just walking through an airport and just sitting and people watching and trying to understand their stories. So I do hear a lot of bunchenche about what employees have experienced, in transit, and what the assumption is about the service that we're providing, and also sometimes the attitude of a little unforgiving, realizing that we are impacted by some of the same emergencies that happen. Gas main breaks, water main breaks, that may happen on a bus route. That's why the bus didn't come down there. But sorry, X and X and Y City didn't let us know that they were closing off for a film shoot. So we
Right.
couldn't go down that street, and we didn't have a mechanism for reaching you. But so yeah, it's really interesting, and I think that's what keeps me very fueled to be able to understand and sort of predict ahead of time what the next challenge could possibly be, so that we what can we do to mitigate it or be prepared for it, because this is what our customers will say, or and they're pretty unforgiving. So
So you
the
you hear a lot
bunchenches,
about
yeah,
chinche.
I
It
hear
keeps your
a
ear, it keeps
lot.
you plugged in.
It does. It
Yeah.
really does. And every day there's a question that we had not anticipated, you know, because somebody just wants to know, and they figure you're a public entity, so you must tell me. You must tell me why that yellow police tape is there,
Right.
or you must tell me, if my child was on that bus. I mean, those
Yeah.
are some, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't reveal a lot of my sources to you.
All right. Well, we may
Yeah,
circle back
yeah,
someday to get some more
yeah.
bochinche. Well, Donna DeJesús, the Queen of MARTA. Thank you so much for coming on the Happiest
No.
Retirees podcast.
Oh, I thank you so much. This has been great. And I appreciate your interest, and your listeners' interest in
I
finding out more about our operations. I really do.
Well, maybe we can do this again down the road because my interest will still be there.
Okay. And by all means, contact me. I'm here to serve.
And thanks for keeping us on the rails because I tend to take people
Okay.
off the rails with interviews. So, all right. Well, you have a great
Yeah.
day, Donna.
Thank you so very much, Ryan. Appreciate it.